Hello and welcome friends. If you are new to this channel, then please subscribe. Let's see a match today. I have played with black and game started with white moving e4. Black responded with g6. So modern defense with e4. Bishop to c4. Bishop g7. So this bishop is targeting this pawn and this bishop is having an eye on the long diagonal. Nf3, e6, white castles. Very good move, early castle. So it will keep the white king protected. c6, d4, knight f6, nc3, a5. So this is actually a way to trap the bishop. If after this move it goes here, I will push this. So bishop will not have any space to exit. So white responded with a4, queen to b6. This restricts the bishop movement because this pawn will be under attack if bishop goes anywhere from the square. So bishop b3, it protects the pawn, and black castles. Bishop e3, knight a6, d5, queen c7. Actually this was an attack on the queen by moving the pawn. So queen was brought here. d6, so pawn was pushed ahead. So very aggressive pawn movement, the center to pawn movements by white. So queen d8, e5. Now the two pawn is very ahead, and this supports this and this supports this, and queen is also checking this pawn. Knight d5. So the pawn is enclosed now, just to trade off the pawns which have come to ahead on the board. Bishop g5, attack on the queen. f6. Now knight takes the knight, then c pawn takes the knight, then e pawn took the pawn and bishop took the pawn. h4, actually it wants to move ahead or bring the bishop here and support the pawns with multiple pawns movement. So queen to b6, if it has a plan to move the pawn, then definitely there will be some space for the pieces to attack. And also, since this bishop was pinned, queen have to be moved to free it from the pin. Bishop h6, rook to f7, knight to g5. Now the rook movement is totally blocked, so this exchange was required and important here. So bishop took the knight and pawn took the bishop. So it does give a support to bishop, and bishop checks the king movement on this row also. So if the queen comes here, it can be dangerous. Only one piece is there to defend this row, but in some time this is not sufficient. So queen takes the pawn, then c4. Since these two pawns are restricting this bishop movement, so white want to get rid of these pawns, these two pawns, so that it can have an attack on the rook and the king. Knight c5, so counter attack on the bishop itself. So bishop to a2, knight takes a4. Now c takes d5, knight takes b2, attack on the queen. Then queen d4, queen b4, because the attack was there on the knight and on this diagonal, so it is very much important to trade off the queen. So queen takes b4 and a takes the queen. So d takes the pawn and d takes the pawn, or f to c1. So attack on the bishop. So first which will take is a question, but this does attack this bishop, and anyway it is defended by the rook. Knight d3 defended the pawn and attack on the white pawn. So rook took the bishop. This was unexpected because now this rook will take this rook, and then white moved bishop takes e6. Anyway, it is getting a rook back, might be the idea. However, from here black can give a check. So next move was rook c1 check. Rook took the rook and knight took the rook. Now if black take this also, king will capture the bishop and this knight is free to move, and this bishop cannot escape easily because it is blocked by its own piece, and on these two squares it is blocked by the black king. So king to f1, b3, king e1, b2, and white resigned here. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Thank you.